Hi, everybody. It's going to be one of those nights again, if you can't tell. Hi, I'm Darksword. Glad to have you back. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Going to be going over some wonderful stuff. Unfortunately, with the way things have been going in life with everybody, that I do not have a co-host again tonight, but we will do the best we can and see how far we get with this craziness. All right. Uh, just going to have some fun and take it moment by moment, see where we end up at the end of this. What do you think? Huh? So, having some fun, having some fun, having some fun. So let's go ahead and start off with some good stuff. Jump right into it here. Okay, this is Thanksgiving week for 2020, and we're gonna have one more show on Wednesday, of course. But I'm hoping that everybody, if you don't tune in, if you tune into this, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you get to see family and friends. I hope there's no fighting or arguing. Don't bring up politics, for crying out loud. It doesn't matter. All right. Just have some fun. Enjoy spending time with your families if you can. If you can't, make sure you at least reach out and talk to them. Give them a phone call. Don't fucking text them. Don't email them. Pick up a phone. Who doesn't have one of these? Call them. Say hi. How you doing? Was thinking about you. All right. Not gonna kill you. Nope. All right. Now, for those who have joined the military service, of course, some of these people are still thinking COVID is too much of an issue to send our trainees home. But this year, a couple of units on Lackland have authorized their trainees to uh, get picked up by local veterans and other military members to have Thanksgiving dinner. Um, I don't remember what other than the requirements are that they're the families are vaccinated and they have a military ID. So, with that being said, they needed at least 150 families, and they have that 150 families for the folks, the young folks here on Lackland that are training to become airmen and other jobs or positions that are within their their realm of training at that location. Um, Fort Sam Houston, their training facility is medical, and they have decided that this year they are not going to allow uh, the folks to hop to bounce and go home and see family or friends or anything like that this year. So we're sad for them, and I'm sorry that they are having to do that, not miss their families, because it's a good holiday. Hopefully, if they're still in training the through Christmas, that they're going to be able to get out and go and see their families over the Christmas holiday. All right, welcome. Thanks for stopping by the channel. I appreciate having you here. So let's see. They were originally needing about 375 hosts, but the way things panned out, they only needed 150 hosts. I think the reason was they were only going to allow two personnel from these units to go to a specific location. However, I think somewhere in the midst of this, they changed their minds and were allowing, maybe more, 4 or 5, to go to different locations. So they're going to be spending the holiday with a family, having Christmas dinner, or sorry, Christmas, sorry, Thanksgiving dinner, and hopefully they're going to have a good meal, and they're going to have a good time. You get to decompress a bit. I don't know how much you can decompress when you're in your blues, but try your best. And thank you for everything that you do for us, or you will be doing for us. And thank you for volunteering. We do appreciate it. Let's see here. What else do we have here? I got quite a bit of stupid stuff. Let's go with this, though. As you can see above on all my screens I always have the veteran crisis lineup just in case somebody needs it. Okay. Even if you're not sure, if you get to a point in your mind where you think, I'm not so sure, do it. That's your key right there. Pick up the phone. You can either call them, dial the number 1-800-273-8255 and press 1 when you're prompted. Or you can text them. You will get a live human being on the other side and you can, have a conversation with them. Maybe you don't need to be hospitalized, but you needed somebody to talk to, kind of get you through this and you didn't know who else to reach out to. Take the time to do it, please. We want you to be here. This is a very, very tough time of the year for everybody, especially those of us who have depression and PTSD. Um, you most of the time we don't have our families around. We don't have somebody here in the off hours. I mean, I live fairly close to my father and my stepmother, so I can see them, but I'm not going to stay with them all the time. So when I come home, I'm by myself with my dogs. So I may or may not have issues as things go on. We shall see. Um, I'm hoping I don't, but just know that you're not alone. Okay. If you're watching this, you can reach out to me. If you're on Facebook, send me a message. If you're on YouTube, send me a message. If you're on Twitch, send me a message. Send me a whisper. All right. I'd rather you do that and say, hey, listen, what are you doing for the holidays? Maybe we can just hop in the chat on my chat in there goes my brain. Welcome to my world. Discord. You can hop in my Discord channel and we can talk. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's there for a reason. That's why I created it. So that we can talk. You don't want to use your voice, you don't want to be on the internet, that's fine. You don't have to hop in during a show. I'm always, throughout the day, usually mostly in the afternoon or so, I get on Discord and I kind of leave it open all day. But it also sends me messages on my phone. So if you wanted to talk, reach out. I'm here. Okay. Now, again, as I've said in every episode of this, I will tell you point blank, I am not a combat veteran. I did not serve during wartime. I did serve in South Korea, which technically is still a war zone, but I didn't see combat. Okay, so I don't consider myself a combat veteran. If you can take that time to reach out, great. I hope you do. Okay, because we want you to be here. I don't care about anything else. I want you here. I want you here. You don't have to watch my damn show. I don't, it is what it is. You may not like me. He's ugly. He's fat. Whatever. I don't care. All right. Don't do the forever sleep thing, man. All right. We want you here. You're needed. There's a reason for you to still be here. You just haven't found it yet. All right. So let's keep that in mind. Stay strong. Tough times are ahead. I'm with you, literally. But we can get through this together. Here's some other things. Obviously, the Veteran Crisis Line. There's different veteran centers in communities across the country. All right. Pause this. If you're watching it after the live stream, pull the number up and give them a call. See who's near you. All right. Or you can go to veterans.house.gov and look for the mental health resources link at the top. They have the VA Mental Health Services Guide. MakeTheConnection.net. I haven't checked that out. Rally Point's another one. I think I started looking at something or other. That might have been the one I looked at, Rally Point. Okay. Oh, it might have been Make the Connection. See, this is my brain, man. I did this a couple hours ago and I don't remember. Welcome to my world. The VA has self-help apps that you can download. Haven't tried those out. I'll do that and we'll see what we can come up with. Tragedy Assistant Program for survivors. If it's, your family member who's, in the military or whatever, or not in whatever, but in the military and they've lost their life, or if they've taken their life after the fact, God forbid, we don't like that to happen. Reach out and they can help, okay? Of course, VA Women Veterans Call Center, there's other organizations out there that are specifically addressed for women because you have different needs than males do. Okay. I'm not going to get into this other stuff around it, but if you're a woman and you need help, go get the help. If you're a man, you need help, go get the help. If you're anywhere in between and you need help, go get help. The theme here: get help. You're not alone. All right. VA caregiver support line. This is a big thing that not many people utilize. If your loved one was a service member and they're disabled, reach out. There's no reason that you can't, you know, get some assistance, honestly, to get you through some of this stuff. It's not fun, but you're not alone. There is caregiver support, and they have programs specifically designed to help take some of the weight off of your shoulders. Okay. Yes, it's always an uphill battle. If they give you pushback, if you're identified as a caregiver and they give you pushback, go to one of the veteran service organizations. All right, because your significant other or your spouse is a veteran, they should be able to help push things through to get you the assistance you need so that you can be there for your service member. Okay. George W. Bush Institute. I don't know anything about this. Right. I'm just kind of going down some of these. Elizabeth Dole Foundation, Hidden Heroes. Of course, the Red Cross Military Veteran Caregiver Network, peer support and mentoring. Pardon me. Team Red, White, and Blue will get you out and get you moving. I know that. I'm a member of them, but I haven't done anything yet. I'm working on it. And then Student Veterans of America. All right, for those of you who are going to college, look into these. It's a great set of organizations, and you are with other veterans. So you are not going to be alone, and it helps with that camaraderie, that the things that we lack as soon as we leave the military. I mean, how many years were you in, and you've got people that, not only would you kill for, but you die for them. All right. That person to your right and to your left. How do you deal with this after the fact is the question. Well, the reality of the situation is, it's very difficult to. It's hard to find that connection with other people when you live in places that has a small military there I go again. Places that have a small military community. Even if you're doing online college, they have student veterans are there, I believe, as well, so you can connect with them and get some kind of interaction going with people who understand us. Okay, we don't think like normal people do. We never will. Okay, we're not normal anymore. Like we were to begin with, we volunteered. Right, what level of brain damage we have is incalculable. And that's just because we were dumb enough to raise our right hand, swear in, and sign on the dotted line. So much fun. I had fun, but I digress. Reach out, find these communities. I stumbled across a couple online, and I'm, enjoy communicating with them. Xavier Recoil One, who I will have back in here next week after Thanksgiving once he's done healing up from his alleged not corona. He will okay, he's in his own chat, schmuck. He'll pop in and we'll have some discussions. We're going to get a little more in depth because we brought up last week the benefits of marijuana, cannabis for mental health conditions in some cases, and some of the studies that are going on. I'm going to touch on a few things right now that have happened within the last 10 days. And we will see exactly where this all plays out in the future because we're dealing with the federal government. So let's roll into it, shall we? you can go find this, congress.com, congress.gov, excuse me. It might as well be a company with the way they act sometimes. You can pull up everything, all the bills that have been submitted to Congress for review and approval or denial. One of them is HR 5977. Now, there is no text to this bill. It's a government thing, okay? Why they don't put in here what it is, but it's to amend the Controlled Substances Act regarding marijuana and for other purposes. Well, let's roll on over to Leafly. You can imagine where they are. All right, and this is, you have to be 18 or over to deal with this website because of the topic that it is dealing with. Hi, welcome to the channel. Thanks for having me here. Hey, Redneck, how you doing? Yeah, thanks for, yeah, okay. Sorry, it took me a minute to see that. I'm doing a different thing, different program for my chat, and it's kind of difficult for me to get to it at times. And, go tell Recoil to, get his raspy ass into my channel so we can talk, because he's in his fucking around with Nevermore. So, I'm not going to back to the news story. Sorry about that. But here it is. These are actually 4 Republicans, maybe 5, at least 4 that I'm aware of, they're the ones that submitted this bill. And it is to decriminalize marijuana federally so that the states can regulate it. Now, of course, if the federal government hasn't taken control over it like they have, we're not going to get into the history of marijuana because it used to be legal for the longest time. I mean, you're talking it's a weed, herb, whatever you want to call it, okay? Has been around for more than 2 centuries and has been used appropriately-ish, okay? I don't see anybody talking to the Native Americans going, oh, you use peyote? Yeah, they use it. They have a reason to use it now and again, okay? There used to be studies being done on cannabis. We'll get into that next week. But this will, if it passes, of course, it has to go through all the committees in the House. It's got to go through the Senate, all the committees there. And let me tell you, let's go back. Where was it? Okay. It has to go through 12 separate committees. It's got to go through the Judiciary, Energy and Commerce, Natural Resources, Agriculture, Transportation Infrastructure, House Armed Services Committee. The answer is no, you can't smoke weed if you're on active duty. Pretty simple. Ways and Means, Small Business, Veteran Affairs, Oversight and Reform, Education and Labor, and Foreign Affairs. So it has to get through all of these right there, every last one of those, to go to the next set to be put up for vote. Okay. Hopefully that they will be able to do this. It would also establish a 3% federal tax on sales, which is nothing when it all comes out in the wash for 3%. And we're talking the federal government here. It just needs to be dealt with appropriately. There's no 2 ways about it. Prohibition has never worked. I mean, they figured that out really quickly in the 20s when they decided they were going to ban alcohol across the United States. That worked well. Federal government created how many criminal enterprises? They never found out the true number, so we're not even going to go there. All right. Hopefully, this does kind of go forward. If you're a proponent of medical marijuana, all right, for reasonable uses, recreation, you're going to have to deal with your state people, your state legislature. But I think I just lost my headset. It just turned itself off. get a hold of your congressman, your congresspeople, and tell them to support. Let's go back to it. HR 5977. Sorry, my brain again. All right. Tell them to push it through. If they're members of these committees, email them, write them. I'm not sure about calling them, but I'm surprised you probably could. Let them know that you want them to support this bill. For whatever reason you have. You want to be able to sit at home and smoke, a doobie. That's your business. All right. But you can remind them, look it up, do a Google search, find the history of the, marijuana laws and how it got put on the list of prohibited items, if you will. Tell them to take it off. Tell them, let the states deal with it. That is more of a state issue, which is absolutely fine with me. A lot of states already have laws authorizing for at least medical use with doctor's prescription, yada yada yada. Now, whether that would help some of us or not remains to be seen. But if you remember from last week, we talked about it, and that study, the doctor saw a 66% rate of success. 2/3 of the patients, 66 out of 100, showed that they had a benefit from. Oh wait, that's the wrong one, isn't it? Yeah, that's the wrong one. I'm thinking the one for ecstasy. Sorry, my bad. See, this is how my brain works, folks. That's right. There are studies that are just kind of starting to go on again. The FDA's finally allowed it for the last few years, so hopefully we get some of these pushed through too. But unless we take it out of the hands of the federal government and leave it to the states, this may not actually happen as rapidly as it should happen. Of course, you're going to have states that are going to push back, and that's on them and their voters to decide. So, it's little things like that. But we already have 26 or so states, 29 states maybe, that have legalized marijuana in some form or fashion, be it just recreational or medicinal. That is, the federal government needs to play catch up, basically, is what needs to happen. They need to get out of the way and let the states do their jobs. I don't have a problem with them putting a 3% sales tax on the purchase of it, because that's what the government does. They tax everything, whether we like it or not. So, excuse me. Okay, so we did that. What is this one? Oh, here we go. November 12th, 10 days ago. Chairman Takano responds to troubling Department of Defense Inspector General report on suicide prevention. Now, an executive order was placed 2018 where the DoD is supposed to screen transitioning service members for suicide risk. Okay. It's in black and white. It exists. It's there. I'm not going to do the math in my head as to who the president was at the time, because my brain's just not going to function like that tonight. All right. They were supposed to do the screening. The VA should do it as well. But guess what the IG report said? Here's the report from November 9th. Okay. The objective is pretty simple. It's evaluation to determine whether the Department of Defense provides suicide prevention resources for transitioning service members as required by Executive Order 13822. executive order supporting our veterans during their transition from uniformed service to civilian life. Guess what they didn't do? First line of the finding. The DoD did not screen for suicide risk or provide uninterrupted mental health care to transitioning service members as required by federal and DoD guidance. So they didn't even follow their own rules. So for several years, those of us who know, we know this is not that big of a surprise. They did not do their jobs. They did not screen service members for the risk of suicide. They apparently also did not maintain their mental health care in the transition from military to civilian. Is it possible? Pardon me, it's really bubbly tonight. Where does this make sense? I mean, this is another one of those wonderful things that really kind of just irritates me to no end. We sign a document offering our lives, services, and, brain power, muscles to our country to protect it against all enemies, foreign and domestic, which is kind of a shaky thing at times. We'll see how, see how things go. But this is yet another example of us not being cared for. And this isn't in one place, this is across the board. This is nationwide. Where is the breakdown in this? Is it a lack of caring? Is it a lack of manpower? Where's the breakdown in this? Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to read this as I talk to you because I didn't go through it earlier. I didn't have time. Too busy jamming out a Slipknot. I'll admit it. But they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So we have soldiers, sailors, airmen, marine defenders who have been in war zones or suffered military sexual trauma or, any number of things. And they're being seen on the inside. They're being seen while they're active duty, or, they're getting ready to get out. They just come back from a deployment. Maybe it may have been their first deployment. That's the way things happen sometimes. They end up not being cared for, in that transition. It's more than it. I mean, I bitched about this before in my lifetime. When we go to the military changes us. They train us to not be a civilian anymore. They train us to be a soldier, a sailor, an airman, a marine, a defender, Coast Guard. Okay. That's what we become. We are all trained killers. If we weren't going to be trained killers, we would not be trained and have to qualify on weapons. All right. So they train us to think a certain way, to act a certain way, to walk a certain way. Okay. To become the embodiment of that title that we're given upon graduation from our basic training. What they do not do is when it comes time to send us back to the civilian world, either retirement, medical discharge, or you've hit the end of your contract or in ETS or whatever they call it. All right. What ends up happening is you're sending that soldier, sailor, airman, marine, defender, Coast Guard out into the world without teaching them how to be a civilian again. So we don't fit. You're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. And a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Okay. We have a level of discipline that a lot, not all, but a lot of civilians do not have. Okay. We're risk takers. We have the ability to see things in a way that others do not. So how do we convert to being a civilian? We got to do it on a daily basis. Okay. I mean, you can walk into a military unit and round the corner and say, "Fuckers, what's up?" Try that shit in a civilian job and see what happens. Okay. They don't consider it a term of endearment like we do. No, that is something that's going to get you written up, and if you forget again, you're fired. If they even let you get that far. So how we have to figure this out on our own. Now we're even reading that they're not even taking care of the mental health of us, those of us who have the need for it. Okay, my brain's not running my mouth again. I'm sorry. How in the world are we supposed to function in society when, one, you're not teaching us how to fit back into society, two, we have a mental health issue that needs to be addressed or continuing to be addressed so that we can go back into civilian life and function properly. All right. Who's got the answers to this? I sure as hell don't. I have good ideas, but I'm not in a position of power to do anything. All right. I don't want to be. But if you take the time, again, I'm not being political. I don't want to be political, but I'm going to say it again. Some of these things you need to reach out to your legislative representatives and ask them to look into this. Ask them to dig deeper. Ask them to push. Okay, ask them to get involved because this is unacceptable. Okay. We can only do so much from our side of the desk. We have to have the other side of the desk actually get involved and do things. We will see how that plays out in time. Whether or not we're going to end up with a new secretary of Veterans Administration or assistant secretary, that remains to be seen at this point. But they're not collaborating like they're supposed to. Okay. I don't have a lot of stories again tonight. I'm so sorry. So back to the Congress, the House, I think it is. Yes, this is the House Veterans Committee. Or, I'm sorry, the House Committee on Veterans Affairs. Don't want to screw the title up. I don't piss somebody off. When was this posted? I can't. November 16th. The House passed, this one's 8 bills dealing with veterans. The VA Electronic Health Record Transparency Act should have never be needed, but it is. Surprise, government action. The Vital Assessment Act, which I don't know what that is, as amended. The Burn Pit Registry Enhancement Act. If you have been overseas and you have been near a burn pit, go to the VA and get online and register for it, that you were there. Do not let this slip away. I don't care if you're feeling absolutely fine right now. You're young, strong, whatever. Get on the list. Okay? It's just like when you get out, make sure you get your medical records, review them, and they can submit you for a disability determination or percent, a rating. Okay? Even if you get rated 0, it's still a rating, which means if something starts to happen in the future, they can be revisited and that rating be increased. So make sure you do this, please. Again, I don't know what the VA AIM Act is. Protections for Student Veterans Act. Memory serves, that's one about financial issues about some schools charging more than what the VA benefit is for that school. Protecting Moms Who Served Act of 2021. I think we discussed that in brief maybe last week. The Student Veterans Counseling Centers Eligibility Act. And as amended, the Brave Act, another one I don't know anything about. I know, I didn't do enough research. It's on me. Oh, we'll survive. Yeah, we get along pretty good. Okay. So at least they're going to help support some, student veterans. It says improve mental health care and require transparency of the health record modernization project, which apparently means they're hiding shit. It's usually what transparency means. So that's telling me pretty quickly that the Electronic Health Record Modernization Project has been working, government contract and all, but they're hiding stuff like it's not working right. Who'd have thunk? And now they're trying to, pass a law so that they can get in there and actually see what's really going on. That scares me. You're under government contract, and the government contract says you've got to do A, X, Y, Z, P, D, Q, R, S, T, L, M. But you don't want to tell them how you're doing it or when it's going to be done, because that's usually what that means. And if it's not in the contract, they don't have to adhere to it. That's the way it works. Shitty as every day as you think. All right. So hopefully, some of these will. I don't know what's in them, but the ones that are actually going to help and not screw other things up, I hope they do get passed into law. Now, just before that, day before, again, the House passes 5 bipartisan bills for veterans. Let's see what we got here. These bills will study disparities to help ensure VA benefits are equitably dispersed, increased access to the flu shot, and create a pathway to hire more veterans in the VA healthcare system. Okay. First off, why are we inserting ethnicity into the rating system? All right. What are these disparities they speak of? Okay. Now I can tell you that at least it used to be. When I was getting my med board out of the Army, the senior NCO that did the paperwork for med boards for the Marines and the Navy was a smoker, so we'd have conversations. He told us a story about something that had just happened, I think, a couple of days prior. He had a seaman and a Marine, both of the same pay grade, both of the same time in service, and both with the same injuries. Okay? Both were sent up at the same time to the med board. They came back. The Marine got, I think, 30% disability and was medically retired. The seaman was sent back to duty. No disability rating whatsoever. As if nothing had happened. So, where are the disparities actually occurring? Okay. Here's a hint for anybody that's going through a med board. Everything that's wrong with you is getting rated. Send everything up. They lie to you. When you go up on a med board, it's every single thing that's wrong with you, not just the primary problem, but everything that goes with it. I did not know this. All right. I blew my right hip out of chronic bursitis in it. Some days, like, my leg won't move. Well, I was put on crutches. I was on crutches for almost 2 years. Well, I blew my back out, and for being on crutches for so long, screwed up my knee and my ankle, and probably done more damage to my left hip than I know about. Well, that all happened before my med board was even submitted. So why didn't they send everything up with it? Okay, I have a chronic sprained ankle. My right ankle's chronically sprained. It's done. I mean, they have to go in and tie it up. Cut everything, tie it up to tighten it up. I'm not going to let them do that. These are VA doctors. But make them put everything in the paperwork and send it all up at the same time. And if a doctor looks at you and says, well, they don't do that, look at them and go, doctor, this is exactly what they do. They are supposed to rate me on everything. So do it. Hopefully you don't have some antique doctor sitting there going, oh, you can't get ibuprofen over the counter, because that happened 20 odd years ago. That happened. Scary. I'll buy ibuprofen over the counter since I was a kid. So, let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Okay, level of stupidity here. Scenes for certain individuals and for other purposes. Well, every veteran and caregiver can get it through the VA. So who else is going to be getting these shots? Tuition Fairness for Survivors Act. Now, this one I did read about. This one is about if you were a survivor of a veteran family member, a veteran who passed away, and their benefits pass on to you, that you will get. They want, it doesn't matter what college you go to, they want you to pay the in-state tuition. So if you're in Texas and you want, and the school that has the courses you want is in, I don't know, New York. Okay. And it's all online. We're throwing stuff up here and see where it lands. You will always pay a different price because you're an out-of-state student. Well, this bill, if it gets pushed and becomes law, would require the school to only charge you for in-state tuition, because they're really not losing any money. Let's be clear here. All right. They're changing the name of a medical center in San Diego. Sure, they have Higher Veteran Health Heroes Act of 2021. Now this one. I'm not sure how I feel on this one. Again, I have nothing against my fellow veterans, but I got to spread the hate. Here's where that hate comes in. This is specifically for those military members that are getting out that have been in the healthcare field. Okay, puts them on the VA can put them on a fast track, or even just hire them outright when they come out of the military to go into open positions if they have an open position for what they're trained to do. I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have is this should be across the board. Okay. Now, granted, some job categories it's not going to work with. Infantry, Cav Scouts, even some special forces units, personnel. There is no direct translation to what they do to the civilian sector or in the government sector. Okay. So something will need to be done about them. But there are tons of jobs that are direct transition from military to government service, civil service. I have not seen, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Something like this needs to be done the same way. Okay. So when somebody's getting out of the military, they should be able to get hired and start a civilian job shortly thereafter without competition. Okay. Because that's what this is basically saying. That let's bring them in with a no compete or not having to advertise the job. So again, I'm on the fence about this one, happy and unhappy at the same time, because there's no reason, if a veteran wants to have a job with the government and there's an opening, that providing they have the qualifications, and the training to go along with it, that they should not get hired for those positions. Okay. I mean, it's basically you're in military uniform one day, the next day you're in khakis and a polo, or even worse, like me, suit and a tie. So again, I'll try and remember to look it up and see if I can find out if there's something else out there that's either been passed or they're looking at putting up for everybody in the military across the board, not just healthcare. And we'll see where that goes. Okay, buddy? Okay, he's fine. That's my boy Tuner. I got to get another camera so we can have the puppy cam, the pet cam, because he likes to lay back here in the corner. Now here we go with this again. This back to the top one. Bill to require the Comptroller General of the United States to conduct a study on disparities associated with race and ethnicity with respect to certain health benefits administered by the Secretary of Veterans Affairs and for other purposes. Okay. Let me reiterate this. There is only one race of humanoid on this planet, and it is human. Homo sapien. We have not seen Homo superior yet that I'm aware of. So at this point, we are all the same race. Now, your ethnic background, that's a whole nother story. And there's nothing wrong with it. Okay? I don't give a shit. You're a good person or you're a bad person. That's where you fit in my world. I don't care what your skin color is. But here we go with another thing that is trying to say there is an issue with those who are of different skin tone, different levels of pigment in your skin. I highly doubt that. This goes back to the story I was trying to tell earlier, and I got sidetracked myself. Okay. Where's the real disparity happening at? Is it happening, doesn't matter what the skin tone of the person is, but is it the doctor's not believing what the service member is telling them? Seriously. Are you hiding? Are you not hiding? Do you just not believe that these problems exist? So you're not going to give them what they need? Is that what the problem is? Because I'll tell you right now, every time I go to a VA medical facility, I see everybody. I see everybody of every ethnic background there is. Where's the problem? What am I missing? Are they not being paid as much? Are they not getting high ratings? For the disabilities as others? Well, that's bullshit because that's all in a book, and if you meet the criteria, you get whatever that percentage is. It's 38. The Code of Federal Regulations, Chapter 38, I believe is. You can find that if you can figure out your way to get around in the VA website, you can find the all the documentation, the legal documentation as to how the ratings work and what they're supposed to be, depending on what the issue is. So that is out there for people to look at. Okay, so we're done with that one. Oh, look, running out of time here. Now, we brought this up before. This is a veterans treatment court here in Bexar County, Texas. I wanted to see what they had for the program here for veterans who have, issues. So they do have their own trial court, and it these are based on a successful drug court model for veteran treatment, and it helps those struggling with PTSD, TBI, traumatic brain injury, addiction, mental illness, and or co-occurring disorders. The long-term goal is of this problem-solving court is the restoration of the veteran's quality of life and a reduction of conflicts that may lead to additional incarceration events. Now, there's two different tracks here that they're talking about. Track one is for a veteran who accepts it pre-trial. All right, they have to successfully complete the program that has been provided, and they will have their case dismissed with no criminal conviction on the record. All right. Participation in the program is generally for 1 year. I love that. That's an awesome thing. All right. Again, this is something has happened to these veterans. They're mentally unstable. These are my brothers and sisters, and they've made mistakes. They've got, they've done something, they got picked up for it. Again, this is not something that is a class 1 felony. Hey, Toxic, thanks for the host. I appreciate it. Track 2, for veterans who are accepted in it, it's a probation component. For the veterans expected to participate and comply with the treatment plan, and in terms of probation, generally the term probation is 1 year. Okay. Their compliance, as long as the compliance meets with what the treatment plan and the judge and the treatment team are you serious? You can't beat this. I hope that they get cleaned up enough to understand that this is there to help them and keep them out of jail, and to get them, back on track for their lives. So substance abuse and mental health services are provided by the Veterans Administration under certain circumstances. So substance abuse and mental health services can be provided by community partners. So they're not just limited to sending these veterans to the VA. Okay. And you also have to remember that sometimes these veterans slip through the cracks. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate having you here. This can save their lives in more ways than one. Okay. They won't be looked down upon when they get out because they've had issues, but they've gotten the help, and the court has seen fit to not convict them. It's an outright dismissal of the charges. Now, of course, you relapse, you're done. That's just the way the system is set up. We hope you don't have a relapse. We want you there, and it's nice to see that the courts around the country are starting to pick up on this and actually taking care of veterans instead of just locking them away. It just, if you're in the area, here's your contact information. Presiding judge is a retired colonel. Think about that. You can't beat it when he's a veteran, so he understands a lot of this stuff. And the case manager is a retired staff sergeant from the Marine Corps. Project director is an Air Force veteran. Seriously. These are veterans helping veterans. I love it. I really do. And I hope they all, I hate the fact that they've gotten to a point that this has happened in their lives, but I am happy to see that that the judicial system is actually taking care of them and not just throwing them away. I do applaud them for doing this. With that, I'm out of stories, everybody. Hate to say it. Anybody have anything they want to discuss while we're still on for a couple minutes here? Y'all can hop in my chat on my channel, or you can shoot me a message here real quick, and we can, I'll look it up and we'll have a conversation about it. Oh. Unless you're typing a paragraph. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Appreciate having you here. Don't forget to, follow if you like the content on this channel. Gives me a reason to do more, but I'll be back here anyways because I'm bored and have no life. I have a life, kind of, sort of. But hey, it's another story. Hey, take care of yourselves. Take care of everybody around you.